Boker Tov. So yesterday we explained the appropriate age for men and boys to get married nowadays. And now moving on to women, what's the appropriate age for girls to get married nowadays? So there is no specific age mentioned in the Hachamim for women to get married. And the simple reason for that is, as we explained last week, there is no independent mitzvah of procreation for women. And so therefore there cannot be an obligatory age for women to get married. Having said that, and as we will explain in due course, there still is some kind of mitzvah for women in getting married. It clearly is. We'll discuss the nature of that and what that means. But in any case, the Hachamim do say in the Gemara in Sanhedrin that it is correct for girls and women to get married as early as possible. And the obvious reason for this is because it's better for a person to be married and to avoid any promiscuity, anything going wrong. The earlier a girl gets married, the better it is. To the extent the halacha provides that actually a father or a parent should even be willing to give away a tenth of their assets to help their daughter get married. And this even applies after his death. The halacha requires that one can even give 1/10 of a father's assets towards marrying a daughter off. So one sees clearly that there is a mitzvah to help a daughter get married, and we see in the Gemara as well that as early as is realistically possible. Now it is true that the Torah does allow a father to marry off his daughter under the age of 12. That's clear, and there's no two ways about that. However, the Hachamim clearly tell us, Asur la'adam sheikadesh et bito. It's forbidden for a man to marry off his daughter until she grows up and says, I want to marry X, I want to marry that person, until she consents to marriage. And the apparent contradiction between these two ideas is very simple, is that the Torah gives the permissibility for a father to be able to marry off his child until the age of 12 in those days when there were it was a daughter, and this is clear, the Rishonim speak this out, that if not doing so, the father won't be able to provide for the child's sustenance, won't be able to look after the child, won't be able to marry off the child at a later age. And so the Torah gives permission for a father to marry off the child in extenuating circumstances. But the correct procedure is that a father and a parent only marries off their daughter to someone who their daughter wants and at the appropriate time to do so. And so what we're saying is that there is no specific age for a girl to get married, but as is realistically possible, a girl should get married as early as possible. Now, there is, of course, nowadays the reality that women are expected, at least in some societies, to be able to bring in some kind of income and to have a job. And that should also be taken into account, just like we explained with regards to boys, that needs to be taken into account. And also the fact that women nowadays as well are more educated, and so it's appropriate for them to have some kind of Torah education and some kind of advanced Torah education as well. All of these factors being considered, one could argue that the appropriate age for girls and women to get married is somewhat similar to boys. And as we've explained, since the age of boys, the correct age to get married is somewhere ranging between the age of 20 to 24, one could similarly say that would be the appropriate age for a girl to get married as well. Of course, if she's able to get married earlier and to be able to fulfill everything required, to be able to have the ability to be able to help and to bring in what she needs to bring in, of course, that would be the best. But realistically speaking, if a girl is able to get married early, and that's certainly the best thing to be able to do from the age of 18. But anywhere, some similar to the ages of boys getting married nowadays, would be seemingly what the Hachamim would say would be the right thing nowadays.